lot of talk about a brokered convention.
Brokered convention.
Contested convention.
There's been a lot of talk about what might or might not happen at the GOP convention in Cleveland. So today, I want to try and summarize everything into a simple explanation. There are only two scenarios, just two. The first is called having a presumptive nominee. That's when a candidate gains 1,237 delegates before the convention. The second is having an open convention. In the past, it's been called brokered, contested, whatever. What it actually is open. All right, let's quickly go through both scenarios. Okay, first scenario. A candidate becomes a presumptive nominee when he acquires the majority of delegates. That's 50% of the total number of delegates plus one, which is 1,237. You need a majority. A minority does not win. Now, most of these delegates are bound according to the respective state party rules and sometimes the state law in conjunction with the primaries and caucuses that occur across the country. If this sounds familiar, it should. This is the way things usually go. All right, let's switch gears and look at the second scenario, an open convention. The goal here is still to reach 1,237 delegates. Being open means that no candidate has won a majority of delegates through the primaries and caucuses, so the candidates will try to win a majority at the convention. And it could take more than one ballot. And who votes on these ballots? Delegates do. And I'm sure you're thinking, who are these delegates and how did they get here? The majority of delegates are elected by people that show up to their respective state party conventions or caucuses. They can also be elected at the same time that a voter casts his or her ballot for the presidential candidate of their choice. All of these decisions are governed by state party rules. What we're talking about here is grassroots. Most of the delegates are bound to certain candidates based on the results of their primaries, caucuses, or state conventions, but most are only bound during the first ballot of voting. If voting goes to second ballot, the majority of bound delegates now become unbound and can vote their personal preference. And how about the rules that govern the convention? Those are made by the Convention Rules Committee, which is made up of delegates elected by their states. 2 delegates per state to be exact, 1 man and 1 woman who are elected from each state delegation pool. Once formed, the committee will meet and determine the rules for the 2016 convention. They'll write a report, which is then presented to the convention floor. At that point, a vote of all the delegates on the floor will take place to make the 2016 convention rules official. But maybe you still don't understand, why is all this necessary? Why can't the rules stay the same for each convention? Listen, if you were a delegate, you wouldn't want to be governed by the rules of past conventions. There's no reason why the rules that governed Romney's delegates should be used to govern you. After all, this is a new convention for new candidates. A few final points. The Republican National Committee's role at the convention is simply to assure the process is open and transparent. Their role is to basically referee this thing. Lastly, this all seems a little crazy and unprecedented, so you may be wondering, has this happened before? Absolutely. In fact, 6 of the GOP's 10 open conventions have produced a nominee who went on to become president. Okay, in summary, there's only 2 possible scenarios. Either a candidate reaches 1,237 delegates and becomes the presumptive nominee, or there's an open convention. If you have more questions, just visit conventionfacts.gop, where you can find all the info on the upcoming GOP convention in Cleveland. We'll see you there.